Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well, my friends. I hope you are all well. Obviously, down but not out. No, out but not down. I mean, yeah, out but not down. Not down but out. Obviously, the day after the Lord Mayor's show, it was a fantastic. I thought the occasion was brilliant yesterday, and yeah, it was just too much of a what's the name? Too much of a mountain to climb, I think. Although being said that, I think first half particularly we could have been at least 2 or 3 up. In all honesty, I thought we rocked them. I think that's probably one of the first time it was all season for them that they've been really, really up against it. I know they're very close to Karabakh, but. We rattled him, didn't we? We rattled him, and yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was. Not grateful for, but for me that was like, we wanted. We knew the odds were stacked against us, but we really wanted to show. We wanted a performance. We wanted something. We wanted the boys. No Paqueta. There was no Emerson. Bowen had just come back from injury. There's no Dino. And we wanted something to be proud of. And I think, and again, I don't really watch, I don't really follow every tweet on Twitter, but I go on to get an idea, just to get a feeling. And I think for once, everyone was like, do you know what? Proud of them. And that's what I mean. Obviously they're tied. We'll talk about it. I'm sure we'll go through everyone's comments and we'll sort of have a post mortem on it. But hats off to the boys on the pitch. I thought everyone really gave their all to a man. I thought they all played their part. Obviously, we tired towards the end, and I think that's the trouble when you play that type of high intensity pressing. I mean, Antonio on his post match interview mentioned it. It does take it out of you. And I think the trouble is, because we're so not used to playing that way, I don't think our levels of fitness are up to that level. And we tired towards the end, and inevitably, and something we've spoken about quite a lot, is squad depth. And, that's what won them the game, in all honesty. The chips are down, and they can bring on Victor Boniface, who's a horrible fucking man. What a horrible character. I don't want him anywhere near West Ham in terms of what he was saying. Maybe we'll get into that a bit. But yeah, when you could bring him on, when you could bring on Sabo after half an hour, just bringing on, no disrespect, Ben and Maxwell isn't really comparable, really, is it? And look, you can't fault the effort. I thought the effort against Fulham. I thought we were very poor. Didn't look like we cared. But last night, to a man, they all cared, in my opinion. Right, let's go for some comments. Looking forward to this day. Probably got to win at least half our mate to get a European place this season, but the fact that teams around us have played less isn't good. You're right, Matt, but it's about points on the board, isn't it? And actually, if you know that you have to win this game, if Chelsea know that this is their game in hand, they've got to make it count. Sometimes it brings untoward pressure on people, So, look, we'll wait and see. We've got 5 cup finals, isn't it? Starting against Crystal Palace at the weekend. We've still got to play Chelsea. We still have to play Liverpool at home. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's next Saturday, isn't it? 12:30 kickoff. They never play well against 12:30 kickoffs, Liverpool. So hopefully, but the same as us, they've got a game a week now. So we'll see where we end up. I think there'll be some more twists and turns and everything in the as it currently stands at the moment. At the moment, 6th gets you into Europe for definite. and that would be the Conference League, with the extra Europa League being for the FA Cup winners. So I was just explaining to Tom today, actually. So, if Man City win the FA Cup, they would have already qualified for Europe via the Champions League. So 7th gets you into Europe. If Coventry win it, then it will be 6th, will be Europe in the Conference League. So 7th wouldn't get into Europe. If Man United win it, if they are already qualified, if they finish like 5th and they've already qualified via the league, it goes down to 7th. And same with Chelsea. So if Chelsea win and they've already qualified for Europe, which they're probably unlikely to. So we really want Man City to win it, and that'll push Man United. That's basically it, and then we'll see what happens. If we finish 8th, we finish 8th. And we're going to post-mortem the season anyway. Obviously, we'll look at these games which we should have won, where we've dropped points, and yeah, we'll wait and see what happens at the end of the season. Isn't it? It's going to be hard to get a place now, but perhaps a year of building and only play one game. It might do, Helen. It might put less pressure on the head coach coming in terms of what they can do in terms of the squad development and stuff. The only sort of fly in the ointment is then building the squad. We clearly need to build a squad, and that squad works really well when you've got multiple games playing, when you're playing Thursday, Sundays. Now, we're not really doing that if we haven't got Europe next year. So people will have to coming on, will we have a first I don't know. It's going to be there's more games this season, basically. So there was more opportunity to play a bigger squad. But we'll see. If only Moyes had played more of that type of football over the last few years, he wouldn't have us on his back. You're very true, Maltese. You're very true. I don't think you can play that style all the time. And actually, I wouldn't want to play that style all the time, because you're seeing it now with what's the name? With Spurs. They play one way and that's it. Same as we play one way and that's it. And you need to sort of cut your cloth accordingly sometimes, I think. Like yesterday, for example, Alonso clearly knew we were going to come out of the traps. So didn't start Tap Saber, which I thought was a bit surprising. Did start with Frimpong, who was a thorn in our side. You think, and so you sort of kept it quite defensive. And then literally, as I said, 30 minutes, when I can't remember for the life of me, bar an injury, a manager making a substitution so early on at the London Stadium. I can't remember. So I take it as a compliment. Feel a bit numb. Game 2 hours for sure. Proud. Jan and Lat didn't help, or the second goal in Germany. Second goal in Germany, I think, to be honest, because I still think we could have done something. It was a mountain to climb. I think if we'd got that goal early on, it opened. It was only 1-0 in Germany. It opens up the game. Leverkusen have to come out, and then that leaves potential gaps at the back, and we know that they were very susceptible at the back. January, I mean, the thing about January is it was across the board for me. It wasn't just West Ham. A lot of clubs didn't invest because of FFP and PSR. They were shit themselves. And, I'm not legislating for it, but I'm just trying to think of the reasons why that would happen for a lot of football people in that club to lose 2 members of the squad. And as I said, I think they probably had someone lined up and it fell through, and then all these motions were in play because they had to be, because otherwise, if that deal had happened and then we'd kept Fornals and Ben Rama, maybe that would put us over the PSR thing and we would have had a points deduction. I don't know, but squad depth has been an issue. The ref was useless. The best one was when I think it was Zuma, tapped him on the shoulder to ask him a question, and he booked him for touching him. But he was like, "Sorry, so so excuse me, mate, don't touch me." Yellow card. I mean, I think it's 11 yellow cards he gave out and 2 red cards. Says it all. And I think he lost. I think the first, again, if you rewatch the game, that first half, I think we got away with a lot of the challenges. And I said, because there was a guy that sits behind me, and he went, "Oh God, that's got to be yellow. That's got to be yellow. That's got to be da." And I said, and I was like, "Well, I guarantee we'll have some against us now to even it up, and we did. But very poor. Rated top 3 in Europe, not so bad. Yeah, I mean, look, they've now got the record now, haven't they? I think they were tied with Juventus for 43 games unbeaten in a season, and now it's 44. So look, I hope they go and win it. I hope they go and win it all, because I'd prefer to say I got knocked out by the champions. We did it against Eintracht Frankfurt. So anyway, his face at times was like, I'm in control. Not we're talking about Xabi Alonso. Yeah, he could. Everything's so intense. So they were doing a sub, and they're all like quickly, and it's like we sort of slander up. He's a very intense person, Xabi Alonso, isn't he? He acts all cool, but when it doesn't go his way, it really doesn't go his way. Will, hope you well. Very play at the first leg. In the first half, we showed that we weren't that special. I disagree slightly, I'll be honest. I think we were 7 minutes away from that game plan working perfectly. We did a similar thing against Sevilla. Where we tried to keep it tight. The trouble with when you're playing a defensive style is you need to defend, and that's what we can't do. So it sort of defeats the object at the moment. But yeah, I mean, if buts and maybes, as I always say, if me aren't me a bollocks to be me uncle. And shoulda, woulda, couldas in it. Argy bargy. I think we did the right thing. I think we got in their faces. I mean, we were a bit more nasty yesterday. I think we could have been a bit more nastier. But we're sort of doing what they did to us. All the players reacted to Paqueta in the first leg and got him the second yellow. I think we could have done that with Florian Wirtz as well. He was on a second yellow anyway. I mean, those all get taken off for the semis now. Hence why, if you saw the Aston Villa game, Martinez gets yellow carded in the game, but because the game's finished, it gets wiped off, and then he gets yellow carded again in the penalty shootout. Very strange. But yeah, no, we disrupted them. We got in their faces and got them to throw their toys at the pram, both on the bench and outside. I wouldn't want to miss Billy McKinney, I tell you. He's a fucking nutter. Stevie Wonder done a better job refereeing that game. Referee's investigating was shocking. It won't be though, will it? Because Antella's come out and said stuff now, and that'll be the main focus point. Too cautious. When we got them after last night, they didn't look so good. They looked shell-shocked yesterday. I think they did for the first half. And then they sort of, and that's a good, I think it shows good management or team management in terms of Alonso. Something wasn't working straight away, and he knows it, so he drags him off. I'd be pissed if I was that player. But he was having a mare. He was on a yellow card. He was giving the ball away. Bring on Tatsebo. That's it. Second half, right? Okay. Well, Caduceus is getting a lot of joy down that left hand. Okay, let's bring on Frimpong, and Caduceus has got to sort of track back a bit more. And let's give the centre halves something to think about. I think Patrick Schick, the last 2 games, he's played 2 halves, and he's been pretty shit, I'll be honest. Hasn't played very well. Patrick Schick, not Patrick Schlick. I didn't think much of Victor as well yesterday, I thought. On and off the pitch, to be honest. I think, and again, if buts and maybes, if Antonio had walloped that in 8 minutes in the first leg, we would have been in a very different position, I'm pretty sure. First half is how we play when Moyes releases the shackles. First half plays outstanding, second shattered. And I think that's the trouble, because we're not used to playing that style all the time. The levels of fitness aren't there. I mean, we got an okay fitness levels, but that takes even more than normal Moyes ball. They were time wasting from the off. Of course they were. Ladders. But we'd have done the same. I would have done the same. Give Leverkusen their toughest. Yep. You're totally right, Adrian. Totally right. Anton was there. Yes, he does. Yeah, when it comes to European like semis or quarters or whatever, he does get half and half. That's the only time, and I still understand. Yeah, apparently Patman wasn't there. I don't think Emerson was there either, to be honest. I know. What's that? Oh, what's Tony said? Tony Perry does something nice. Anyway. Yeah, I don't think what's name was there either. I don't think Dino was there. I don't think so. I know Ariola was there. I know Fornals was there. Dino might have been there actually. I don't know about Emerson and Paqueta, but I know Paqueta wasn't there for sure. Moyes likes to run a small squad that backfired again. Yeah, which is fine if you're only competing on one front. I think now it's shown if you want to compete to the latter stages of Europe, if you want to get to the latter stages of the domestic cups, you need a squad of around 16, 17 good first teamers you can call upon. Now, that being said, the side that the 11 that was out there yesterday, you had Ben Johnson on top, you had Cornet on top, you had Areola injured, you had Dino injured, you had Paqueta out, and you had Emerson out. So that's another 6 players. So we probably do have a squad of probably 14 or 15, but not game changers. Very like for like. Ben Johnson's going to come on. Whereas, for me, into the summer, and we'll talk about that tomorrow, actually, we've been linked to a lot of forwards in the last sort of 48 hours. Someone like Antonio, yes, he's 34, but if we can utilise Antonio correctly and have a new number 9 rather, and Antonio be that Victor Boniface, be that impact signing. 30 minutes here, 20 minutes there, maybe a full run out on the cup game. I think you've got Antonio for at least another season, if not another 2 seasons, because he's only going to play. He's not playing 90. He's not going to be knackered. He's literally playing 30-minute stints, and I think then you'd see someone with genuine, who could really be an impact player. I think Stu, we could concentrate on getting into Europe by the league. All fit squad, no suspensions. We beat them proud of. You're totally right. Yeah, Rouse proud of them. Lost my love for the club literally, but last night it was reignited. Just hoping for a new start, a new build, a new season, and a bit to sort out. Moyes can't sit back. Well, you say that, Ralph, but you know exactly what's going to happen on Sunday. Innit? It's going to be back to Moyes ball, really, and it will be, and it's a shame because it shows that intensity, but I don't think the players are fit enough to do that 2 games running. Not really, but who knows? Do we blame Paqueta for silly yellow cards against them? Paqueta, I do. But also, in a way, it's like if you know that's going to be the case and you know it's half time, surely, it could have made sense, particularly for Paqueta, to put him on the bench for that first half, that first game, because if he was going to Moyes ball it for 90 minutes, Paqueta's lack of ball would have frustrated him. They'll be sniping at him, and I mean he's a weak link, in terms of that mentality. You can get onto him, and he'll dive or do that. And Emerson, I think it was unfortunate, but again, I think with the Paqueta one, I mean you see them give him for yellow, you see them having given for yellow, and it just happened. Heard the ball pulled in after. Well, apparently so. It did. That does coincide with the Talk Sport reports, wasn't it? That yesterday, they were talking. They were sort of previewing the Leverkusen game, but before that, they said, Talk Sport understands that West Ham will not be offering David Moyes a new contract or something like that to that effect. And then they previewed the game. Very strange, but for Talk Sport to say those types of things, who Talk Sport uses for their news, for their sources when it comes to West Ham. Probably the highest source you can probably get. So, you can get. So, look, we know it's it. I mean, I don't want to put a percentage on it, but in theory, it is. It's 50-50, isn't it? In the simplest sense, he either signs either offer him a new deal, or they don't offer him a new deal. As I said, and I keep saying this, whatever deal is on the table, whatever offer that's going to be on, not just for him, but for, I don't know, a Paulo Fonseca or was it what's his face, Mauricio Sarri? No, I saw a link today, or anyone like that, or Potter or Wilson, or whatever. It will be as a head coach. And people say, "Oh, it's just a term. It means nothing." It doesn't. It's a completely different attitude towards how the teams are run from a top down perspective. The head coach reports directly to the director of football or whatever they call whatever Tim's job is, job title. He'll report directly to him. The philosophy will come from Tim. Work down. The recruitment headed up by Tim. It's not saying they don't. It's not saying the head coach won't get some sort of input. But it really is Tim's way of the highway. He the manager, the head coach, always a pound in the food banks. If the head coach doesn't play the players, then there'll be a discussion with Tim. the head coach will not have a veto on the transfers that are coming in, and that's what currently happens. This summer coming is the first Steinton only summer, because even if Moyes still there, he's there as a head coach, not as a what's name, not as a manager. Barry Atwell, all good. Tony, hope you're well. Afternoon, everyone in the chat. Emerson's was very harsh. The approach in the first leg cost us, along with the lack of bench. Indeed, finish 8th and sell Pac-Man and Caduce. How is that progression? I didn't say it was progression. Pac-Man's going to go. I think Kudus. I reckon you'll get Kudus for next year. As I said, I think Liverpool will sniff around. If Salah goes, I think Liverpool will sniff around for him. But if he goes, he'll have to go for £100 million, isn't it? Paqueta and Kudus, and I think with Paqueta as well, you sit there and apparently Juventus are interested, PSG, obviously both Manchester clubs, so there's a bit of a bidding war now. So we'll see. I thought the referee thought it was Christmas, the amount of cards he gave out. Afternoon team, yeah, well, my bruv. As long as we finish higher than Newcastle, we should be all right. But can do, yeah, but we'll see. Newcastle, yeah, Man United, no. We can't play that style against like City, you get annihilated. Indeed, that's what I mean. You can't play that same way all the time, but people do, and that's why a lot of people, a lot of Spurs fans, randomly, some sort of like, I wish Andrew just put up his jumper once in a while. You know what I mean? Because it's so end to end. Early doors, like you, my friend. Nice to see you. Need to try and keep our best players and build from there. I think it's about being realistic. For me, I think I wouldn't even plan with for Paqueta to be here next year. And if he is, it'd be a welcome surprise. But I think you've got that at least £85 million from him to look to reinvest. I think you can do a lot of good work for that. You can find a lot of pearls. Some of the guys we're talking about, we'll probably talk about on Saturday. A couple of them. There's one guy I really like the look of, and he's 19, hungry, and he's exactly the right profile we need going into this sort of rebuild. And he's going to be a rebuild. And as Tim said, it can take 4 to 5 years to properly get into a proper rebuild, and you're continually rebuilding each year. Maybe not the whole squad or 10 players, maybe 1 or 2. I mean, City do it every year. City will look at their squad in the summer and go, right, okay, we can do better there and better there and better there. And they'll sell them players and bring 3 in. Look at City. People, say how great City are. Look at where how bold Cole Palmer is at the moment. He could get the golden boot. Could outscore Eden Hazard, Haaland, mental. Bodie Lounge, hope you're well. Only sub I don't think was correct was taken off Alvarez. Yeah, I agree. We need to go into 2-0. It would have been a different game, brother, wouldn't it? In the rebuild, how many will be used for squad depth? Quite a few. But I think what we'll do as well, Robert, is there'll be the rebuild. I think you'll have what we need to do is have and I'm sure there will be, because Mark, particularly, his relationship with the academy and obviously the relationship with Tim as well. We need to have almost like a player by player timeline program in terms of how we get them physically ready for the demands of the Premier League. From a technical perspective, they could go in tomorrow, but it's that physicality. You see Freddie Potts at the moment absolutely smashing it at West Brom. Wickham. I really hope that we do that with another 2 or 3 players next year. Maybe Lewis, maybe George. I'd bring Callum into the setup because he's going to be a really useful player. Can play a number of different positions. Then look at bringing in someone like Junior Robinson on the right side of the defence. So 3 or 4, I reckon, could make the jump up. From what I've seen the Leverkusen team leaving Stansted. Oh, what a shame. 115 Man City FFP, indeed. I do feel we can get a Chelsea, Liverpool, maybe Man United. We really could have a good season, but we can't drop points to Palace and Luton. It starts on Sunday, innit? I think it starts, there is the performance on last night will give a lot of West Ham fans, I'm just looking at our little WhatsApp group, like with Dan and Sess and Rich, and looking at Twitter. Everyone's, and Ralph in the chat, Ralph's is regularly a half glass empty person. When it comes to West Ham at the moment, let's be honest. Even he's found. I was listening to Nick the other day. He's and that's what it takes. We don't, as West Ham fans, we don't ask for a lot. We really don't, as a group, as a unit. For me, I want people to put the shirt on who run their heart out, because if we put the shirt on, we would run their heart. Yes, we would be crap and we'd lose every game, but I know that you'd get 11 fans putting their shirt on. They would give everything for that club and that badge. And it felt a bit like yesterday that was coming back. Now, what would be typical is we'll get turned over 3 or 4-0 by Crystal Palace on Sunday, which could happen. But there's an opportunity to build momentum by getting knocked out, because you can ride on that crest of a wave from the fans in terms of that appreciation. And that's what I hope happens. But we'll see. Again, hindsight's a great thing, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. We wouldn't have started that way if we were only a goal behind. Yeah, you're right. We would have kept it really tight, wouldn't we? So invariably, it probably it aided to a good game. Was good. Surprised he came off. He was too. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, looking at it, I think maybe Souček from his height in terms of putting the balls into the box. JWP for his deliveries. I mean, Bowen could do that, but I'd rather Bowen be in the box than taking the free kicks. So I understand that. I do understand it. It was a bit weird. But in retrospect, when you looked at it, the options, you take off on a midfielder and bring on a forward. So Alvarez is probably the most dispensable. Is that right? From an attacking perspective. Half-time lost the game. For us, they didn't know what was happening. They were worried. They were indeed. Anyone else got no sound? Let me know. Audio's fine. Sound okay? It's just you. It's just you. It's just you, Jeff. It's about taking our chances at half-time. Totally agree. Annoyed that it always happens, isn't it? Always happens. It's always Cresswell, isn't it? Ref put Alvarez off the 90. He wasn't even on the pitch. Well, as I said on my Twitter, I think I got a yellow card probably by the end of it. That Zuma card made me laugh. Written in the stars, reflection indeed. Not coming to talk shit. Ultimately, the buck stops. He set the tee up wrong in the first half. Stop making excuses. I haven't made excuses strike first. What I've said is, I think actually, from my perspective, and again, hindsight's a great thing. If that 7 minutes of madness hadn't happened, we'd have been in a different position. And it's true what someone said further up. We probably wouldn't have played the way we played yesterday under Moyes, unless our arm was forced. And it's happened a few times. I mean, Arsenal in the Cup, the Carabao Cup, that was totally different than, I don't know, Fulham last week. When that plan works well, it works well, but there's no fallback. That's what I've said all the time. The tap up in the second half, you see, we're Champions League, indeed, and they did the right thing. They brought in the right people. Talk shite, saying we are only good to finish 8th. What do we want? Do they even watch our games? I think there's a. You think? I mean, I know we've had lots of criticism. There's been a lot of criticism of what people are saying, and everyone talks about the ex-players, the ex-managers. Anyone listen to Antonio's interview yesterday? He said, over the last 9 years I've been here, we were a flip-flop side, teetering on relegation. Now to be in Europe 3, I could never have thought that would happen at West Ham. So it's actually, it's not just, so it's come from actually someone in the camp as well. Now I think there is a degree. I mean, again, it's hindsight, isn't it? What will happen is a new head coach will come in. He'll either be a success or a failure. If it's a success, then that's brilliant. We're all happy. If he's a failure, all the naysayers are going to say, "Told you so." So we're on a high into nothing, whatever happens. Fan base needs to look at the bigger picture. At least you dawned against, because we'll destroy Hammers 5-0. Thanks, Spiritual. Must be a Crystal Palace fan. Changed the second half and started looking after the ball, and we retreated. We did, and because they went back to type really, and it works. We had so many fouls not given to us that the ref was on Alonso's side from the start. their players kicked the ball into the stands and even I know it was ridiculous. I would like Paul Ince as new manager to unite all the fans. Can't let the players the second half. Yeah, I agree. Frustrating. We didn't approach more games that way. True. First leg, Moyes was hoping to get a draw, even one you lost, and take it back. So get what you're saying. At least we gave them a great game. Emerson was there. Oh, great to know. Arnie Slot for our new manager, says William. I don't know, actually. Is GP a new member again? GP, how many memberships you got? Anyway, thank you. He's always a new member. I was, when we do sort of the transfer rumours, and I put a list of all the players we've been linked to. I think we're going to have to do I think Luke made a great idea. I think we're going to have to do a list of all the managers we're linked with, because I put down a list of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 13. At least 13 managers. Mental in it. Hamid and Amja, hope well. Feel the bench of players to warm up the seats, not used greatly. I agree. He's a starter. He's just injured. Yeah, but he's an awful human being. Russ, if you heard noise, his boy says he's not here next season. I think he's not here next season. I'll be honest. Early doors. I think realistically, the only real chance he would have been here next season is if he'd won the Europa League. Because to get West Ham into the Champions League, that's possibly one of the greatest achievements we will ever see in our lifetime at West Ham. But we'll see. Again, we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. We can say, our sources say that, or I've had or someone's emailed me. It sounds like no one's got a clue anyway. So how can a source have a clue of what's going on if, by all accounts, according to Sean, the board don't know what they're going to do? So yeah, I'd read everything with a pinch of salt, as always. We need a striker that Moyes can work with in the next manager. When asked questions on his future, he did. So yeah, it was. They did it on his post match. There was a question asked about his tenure, and it was abruptly changed. The media manager at West Ham, the media head of comms, said, "No, we're not talking about tenure. We're talking about the game." Fair enough. We were, but I really don't want him. Honestly, horrible man. Caduceus going to Palace. Okay, good luck to that. What? Buckingham Palace? What, on a tour? What happens if signs for us turn out not to be good, which we won't know to the pre-season? Well, same as now, isn't it? You can sign anyone. You don't know they. Anyway, that's why they're doing all their scouting and stuff at the moment, Matt, for that exact reason. Bowen can leave as well if we don't get to Europe. I think he's less likely than three of them. Paqueta, Kudus, and Bowen. I think Bowen's the least likely of those three to. But also, he'll come with a higher price tag as well because he's homegrown. Good night. I'm so gutted. Got him for 20 million. He'll be the Europa League top goal scorer. Worst named team. Sounds like something from Never Ending Story. Paqueta wasn't. He wasn't. Looking forward to the summer rebuild with a new head coach. Stop saying that word. Jack Clark, good player. Yeah, bad. He's a good player. How many points will we get? Hope we get 9. I want 15. Afternoon, mate. Brilliant performance from the lads. Love it. Lovely to hear the fans clapping even off. That was a bizarre thing, wasn't it? Leverkusen scored, and then West Ham started clapping. Very strange. Very, very strange. But I loved it. I take 3 points. Good player. But I mean, he fluffed his lines. Look at the. He should have buried that ball. We don't have a bench. It screwed us. Naive of the club to think our thing squad could do. But I agree. He pinned Bono and pushed the centre backs back. That's sub killed us. I would like a sign either Tony in the summer, get a proper strong forward. I think there's a number of forwards. I'd like personally. I'd love to do. I'd love to get in a. And again, this is obviously wishful thinking, but I'd like to get in a Tony or a Solanke, someone Premier League ready already, and then get someone else raw, because it's a balancing act, isn't it? But what will happen is Tim will probably go out and spend on probably less for someone probably just as good but not tested in the Premier League. So I don't know. I don't know how much Santiago Jimenez would go for at Feyenoord, but someone in that ilk, I can see him going for. Downs are having Cadell's not having not great. He hasn't played loads of games. He got injured for a bit. Downs and Potts, yeah, definitely. Right, so Gibbs White. Well, us would be linked to him and Awani as well. It looks like Nottingham Forest are trying to make some money. They've apparently announced huge increases in season tickets going into next year, so they need to get some more money from somewhere. We never play well, so we'll never get everything. Luthers is as optimistic as always. So go for Phil would make me happy. Or Jonathan David. He's at Lille, isn't he? Eze needs to come to West Ham as well. He's wasted at Palace. Let's make sure we hit the light. But yes, indeed. Why not? Kent! Evening, son. We look burnt out by the end of the game. I think we did, yeah. How are we going to lift ourselves? I don't know. The lads, we were well into the benches, changes the game. I think also you've got, don't forget, we're going to have Paqueta back. We're going to have Emerson back. We could have Areola back. That automatically is three players who improve the team that played yesterday dramatically. We don't know what's happened with Ged. It might be a case where it's Ogbonna and Zuma, the fucking slowest centre half partnership in the world. I think we'll have, we have a lot of fit players. Suchek's a fit player. JWP is very fit. Alvarez is very fit. Antonio, no, he's not going to be fit. But then if Paqueta comes in, we might be able to move things around a bit. We'll see. Eze and Kudus be amazing. As soon as it was taken off, they used the gap and scored. What was Palace ever won? Set each other off. Cornet looked ready to go. Should have been brought up earlier. Summer Trafford Boniface saying Kovar as backup, decent young promising keeper. Trouble cannons is Fabianski's going to be offered another one new deal. Is Kovar going to come and be third choice? I don't think so. Reese, hope you're well. Nice to see you. Eze off to Liverpool or AC to Man City in the summer. I agree. What is his concrete of his targeting from there? What would like some concrete of who is? Mate, we don't know. Which for me, Spencer, assumes that they are currently employed. But I'm just I'm literally just speculating. So that might be why we're not making concrete. We probably are. It's probably all lined up, but they can't say anything. Pacers average players. We'll see about that on match day. The state of the squad. I worry for next season. Been along, mate. Indeed. How you doing, Pat? Why can't see and why doesn't he want this wonderful style? So frustrating because it's not his style. Pat hasn't been his style for 1,000 games. He does it when he needs the result. He is a risk-adverse manager, and that's always been the way. It's never going to change. And yes, we played great. It was a great game. Particularly the first half was brilliant. But the trouble is, we haven't been built to play that way this season, and that takes us a different level of fitness in my opinion. Can't stop waxing lyricky on the pitch, yeah, but he's a horrible person off the pitch, mate. I get fed up almost achieving because of these, mate. But Trini, that's been our way for the last 40 odd years, isn't it? As well. We'll see. I think he'll be a British manager next season. Can't see. I don't think it will be. If Moyes does go, when do you think it'll be announced? End of the season. On Clan Booze, I think one guy said as sources. Don't know if anything else was said. Well, Talk Sport said he's not going to be offered a new deal. That was basically it. Come on, Russell Moyes is definitely gone. Well, if he's gone, why isn't he gone now? That's what I mean, Mark. I don't think, with only 5 games left, he's only got a month and a half left of his contract, then there's not much for a payout, is there? Board should come out with Russ and let fans know where we stand with Moyes. So I think, they could make an announcement. That's what Bayern Munich did, didn't they? Thomas Tuchel, they said he's not going to be here next season. At least we all know. He's always saying crap. Half the time he's wrong. He's changed tune so many times. Everyone does, though. No one really knows. That just shows we have class fans recognising seasons. Get to respect that, indeed. Bottle job again, turning around. Poor Chris. Must have created a record last night with the oldest team in the Europa League. Well, I mean, by the end, you've got to think 39-year-old goalkeeper. You had Sufal, he's 30. Agbona's 33, 34. Cresswell was about the same in it. I think Zuma's the youngest at that back five by the end. I think, and he's 29, isn't he? 30 something. 4 years, the team and the squad should be the finish. No, it shouldn't, Mark. For me, it should never be the finish article. Every year you need some sort of refresh. That's what a good. Even Sir Alex was it every couple of years he'd bring in a whole new coaching staff. Just because that's what you need. You go stale. The Team Stuyvesant's the exact same thing. It could take 15 years to rebuild. You're constantly rebuilding the side. I don't agree with that wholly, Mark, to be honest. Right, let's go for some more. We got we had to drop deeper. Went off. I agree. I thought he played well when he came on. We had 2 goalkeepers older than Fabs. We have only had 2 goalkeepers older than Fabs. Can you name them? Oh, let's see, Lee. Parksy, I reckon. Was clapping our players or thanking Moyes for finally attacking. I think I should be head coach. Fair enough. Russ, can we at least give Kudus for what he could? Kudus for what he can do as well as he can. He's for somehow he's just managed to just have a fantastic run recently. Fair play to him. Applause was for you've been over. What do you think of Allardyce and Pearce slagging off the fans? I can see Allardyce slagging them off because Allardyce, and again, I have no doubt when Moyes leaves West Ham, when he does podcasts and talk about his time at West Ham, he'll talk about the expectations of the West Ham fans because it must. I'm trying to think of the right words. Sam Allardyce, right, got us promoted, which he should have done because we had a really good squad, but got us promoted. They dropped down the division, got us promoted, brought in some good players, the likes of Nolan, who obviously he's still associated with the club in the coaching staff. Should have won that league, but we didn't. But we got promoted. Then he put to me the foundations of a side which has now been in the top flight for the longest period in our history. I think it is, and that's because of him, not in spite of him. He went to a really solid start, and for a manager, it must really piss when people boo their side because he's been wanting to do a job he's done. Same as Moyes. I mean, you look at Moyes' tenure eventually, when we look at it retrospectively, he would have got us 2 top 7 finishes. 2 or 3? Where we finished this year. 14th, was it 13th, 14th last year? Our first cup in 40 years. So without looking into it, looking as like bullet points, it's been a good season. He's had a decent run at West Ham manager, and it must really piss him off that fans are like critical of that because he thinks he's doing a good job in terms of results. Yeah, if we looked at everything, then probably he's got and Nigel did a thing on 6 Foot 2 where he sort of looked at points, and he was our best performing league manager we've ever had. Not necessarily the cups or anything else, but so I think I can understand it. Pearce, again, it's a strange one. I was listening to a few. I think it was Jazz or someone was saying that it's because they're all on the same. What's it called? On the same after dinner speaking or something like that, which is bollocks because they're all on everyone's books because they're subcontracted out, so that means nothing. But Moisey's an old school manager, so the likes of Sam is an old school manager. The likes of Piercy technically is an old school manager, so they're all old school managers. So you wouldn't get someone who's a more newer type of manager or head coach maybe being so waxing lyrically because he's the last of a dying breed, really, isn't it? And so that's probably why. Shaggy Elka, was it? Would like Tiro Moffi. Yeah, I wanted him when he came. Perhaps the fans clap because it was the end of the Moyes product. City always, that's what I mean. They always refresh. To say that's how we've always been in the cop out. You know what I mean? So many bang on about being our best manager. But we could have, again, coulda, woulda, shoulda. In it, there's so many. And again, I'm not defending Moyes, but I'm just looking at it as a not just a microcosm, but looking at it across as a whole. So many missed opportunities. You know, Slav's second season up to at London Stadium, the first season at London Stadium, missed opportunity. Boys of '86 missed opportunity the following year. We almost went down, and actually we went down 2-3 years after that, didn't we? Despite finishing third, there's always been these possibilities. You know, the Redknapp era, and then going into the Roder era, poor investment. You know, we finished that seventh. Then the next season we went down on 42 points. Will be above the DJ. Well, he can report to me. He's a bully, number 9. He's also a horrible man. So proud of the boys. I agree. Happy Hammer. Anton said she kept up with you, which was good. We need the Stardom project up and running. It's not just a new coach, but a complete backroom staff based on a progressive. I think you do have. I mean, the thing is, the backroom staff will. The head coach will probably bring in his staff. So, you know, Arnie Slot will, if he came in, would bring in his people. That's how it should be when you've been a manager 4 years. West Ham, they have, and I think also, Mark, part of that, yes, money's been spent, but we are still. You got to look at a lot of those players and a lot of the gaps were for poor recruitment years ago, really, and we're paying the dividends, paying the price of that now. You know, we've still got Bonner on the books, we've still got Cresswell on the books, we've still got Fabianski on the books. You know. Now, not saying they're not great players and great servants of the club. Antonio's been here for 9 years now. You know, so it is just not, you know, and in essence, Moyes had to buy it. You know, you look at the side now for when he's like playing now from when he started, it's almost a completely new side. Apart from, well, if you took the first team, not the bench, he's brought that whole new side in. Yeah, he has. Ariola, Emerson, Aged, Zuma, Mavropanos, whatever, Sufal, Suchek. Yeah, he's bought the whole thing. Maybe with the exception of Mikel Antonio, if he played. Russ 24th, Shepherd's Bush Empire. What's that? What? 24th? What's happening in Shepherd's Bush Empire? I know the 31st. There's Chesney Hawks is playing. Right. Let's go through lack of bench, indeed. For West Ham manager, you hint or say should be happy with a little success. Why can't we want Atchett on a regular basis? Nothing wrong with that, surely. No, there's nothing wrong. I mean, we all want. That's the thing. I agree with that. We all want success, but realistically, the only way you're going to get success is winning a domestic cup, really, because you're not going to win the Premier League, and I don't think it's the success. I think but again, it's the style of football, as we said, and I think that's the issue. The old school manager has a very, you're thinking probably the 3 managers who, if Twitter was around during the Allardyce, or it was, but say the Kirbishy, Allardyce, and Moyes. They're all very similar defensive first managers. They're all managers who have had the fan base up against them. I don't think many people were criticising Slav in that first, because he was Slav. He's a nice guy, but it didn't work in the second year. Pellegrini towards the end didn't. It was an experiment, which didn't work. You think for all the others, those were the main ones who people were like, "Oh, it was pretty boring. We'd finished 10th," and I get that. Question: if all the clubs need a new manager, how many Prem clubs would want him? And where's the highest club? We're the highest club he'll go to, Mark. We're the highest club. He ain't going to go any higher than us. And there will be clubs interested in him. The likes of, I don't know, Nottingham Forest, maybe. I mean, he's doing a good job. But, there's going to be certain clubs who will want him to come in and be a firefighter next season. Academy was training the first team. I agree. We are too sentimental. We are. We are so sentimental. And then when we're not sentimental, we're heartless. I don't want Ogbonna to be given a new contract. I don't want Cresswell to be given a new contract. They've been great servants, and see you later. Same as if Mbama doesn't want to sign a new deal, fine, off you go, mate. We've got to be the likes. If we want to be a big boy club, we want to act like a big boy club. We've got to behave like a big boy club when it comes to those types of things. You've got to be ruthless. As I said, Pep Mahrez was one of the top performers in the Premier League. Was it the season before last? What does he do? Sell him. Money comes in. Yeah, we can replace that. He brings in Doku. Who you can have somewhere for the next 5-6 years unless he goes, and that's what he always does. They got rid of Sterling. They've got rid of Jesus. Both still playing in the Premier League, and that's what you need to be. Big lad, isn't he? Russ, I pray we keep our nature. No, maybe we'll see. It was a great game. Stadium was rocking, indeed. But when the new head coach comes in, he would want to focus. He won't focus on buying. He won't. We won't be buying players. Tim Steiner's buying the players, and that's the issue. And that's what we need to get our head around. Don't let a class player like Lanzini go. But Harry, Lanzini wants to go home. We let Craig Dawson go home. We've let him. As I said, that team, that squad, with a Lanzini, with a Craig Dawson, we'd have been a few more places up this season, I reckon. Probably in Europe, we won't attract the top players. That's why we need to get a good manager in and pay top dollar. If we're fighting for a player with a league side or a Bundesliga side, we'd smash him because in terms of the wage bill. We need young players in, we certainly do. It goes pear-shaped. Will we hire for fight? Quite possibly. Upon a performance like that, and then we take the points off the bin dippers next week. Let's hope. Did say wouldn't even get Ipswich manager, but they can still tell us be careful what you wish for. Well, the Ipswich manager, I think McKenna's a better coach than Moisey, so that makes sense. I like Slav, brought in Lanzini, one, but he wanted and the ball blocked him. Yep. Indeed, perhaps the season without Europe will be the best. Give him a season. It is. It is yin and yang, isn't it? It's yin and yang with that. With someone like, I don't know, trying to entice. I think Ralph up there, someone's trying to entice players from Europe. Being in Europe does help. Does help the profile, but we're a big club. West Ham are a big club. We're in terms of you see. Funny if anyone who got to the game early yesterday, the Leverkusen guys were in the club shop buying club shirts. They were doing the crossed irons. We've got pedigree. We've got a name for ourselves, and just good. So it's a yin and yang, isn't it? Mahrez, Gundogan, no, not Gundogan. But Gundogan wasn't going. They offered him a new deal, and he was thinking of staying. Then Barcelona came in. Cole Palmer, Chelsea offered and he put the money in. Mahrez, there was a discussion, but it shows, ruthless. Don't want to be out you go. We'll get rid of you. Money's in, done. That's what I mean, being ruthless. Rather than, please stay. 24 is is it? I'm in Dubai, so I've passed my things on to Jack. My condolences for not going, but last one was good, as you all know, because you saw me on the video in the green room. When we let players go, why they're so no, all other teams managed to do this. Well, I think previously because we didn't have the right setup. Don't forget again, I'm just looking at his tenure, right? Again, this is not, it's not like when Moyes turned up, Pellegrini, the cupboards were empty. Him and Husselos took everything. There was no scouting network, no technical department, no analytic department, there was no scouting network at all. So he had to build that up, as well as building up the team, as well as trying to get out of the Premier League, trying to stay in the Premier League, as well as COVID and everything else. As a whole, personally, I think he's leaving the club in a better place than when he turned up. When he turned up, the cupboards were bare. And again, the squad's still aging. I'm not saying the squad's... We've got a better squad now. Start there. No. We've got a better 11 now. We've got a technical setup. Because of that development, we've got the director of football. We've got the head of recruitment. We've got an analytics department. We've got Maximilian Khan, who's one of the best in terms of that sort of side, analytical side. We have got Europe 3 years in a row. We have won a trophy. We have had 2 top 7s. We have, the middle one was pretty shit, but we're going to get at least top 10 this week. So he's had 3 top 10 finishes. It ain't, but I get it. It's not been exciting. But when you look at it as the bullet points, before you delve in, before you start having a go at me, I think he's left in a better state. Now, people can split hairs. What about the squad? I agree, but as a whole, can we agree? Probably not. What about company? I don't think he's great. I just don't think he's as good as. Will this channel be getting any summer signings? Who knows? Quite possibly, actually. Could be a lot of interesting stuff happening in the summer when it comes to the West Ham Network. To be honest, I'd rather attract players who want to play for us. Yeah, I agree. Downs being there was lovely. Was missing by the accounts. He was. Afternoon, Peter. Nice to see ya. Don't know. Razor seems. Don't know what. I don't understand. Big in the club, very good. Well, he's not now. He's had his stomach, didn't he? He had a balloon in there and he's lost so much weight. I might have to chat with him. Pundits and players alike are saying West Ham are sleeping giants. Stop giving us the tablets, please. Maybe get back the squad is fit and arguably weaker and aging. It's financial investment, the main part. And using the training. Apparently they're still looking. I mean, Basildon's an option, isn't it? But we'll see. That's what I mean. Infrastructure as a club as a whole. And obviously, with that, you've got the playing staff, the infrastructure, So as a whole, I think and that's all. That's all. Someone as when you look at one tenure, that manager wants to. If it was me, I'd like to leave it in a better state than when I left it. And I think he probably has. Now, I'm not saying in terms of, the squad is aging. I think it's a starting 11. We've got a better 11. Yes, we've lost people on the way. Yes, money hasn't been invested well. But I think we're moving into an era where it will be invested better. He's leaving the club, one deflected goal away from beating the best team. He's moving forward. Great shout. And I can't deny that. Yeah, I think he has. When I was interviewing David Schlar, we were talking about when we played that team in Poland, or whatever it was. We couldn't remember their names. We're so blasé to the fact we're in Europe. My problem with Moyes is not so much negativity. It's not football's up. It's negative, small. Yeah, I think he has a plan B, but the plan B is very similar to plan A. That's the thing. I think he has. Squad rotation, agreed. Youth involvement, I half agree. I think sometimes, and I've mentioned about that to the cows come home. He and the way he works with the youth team, and the interaction between the first team, backroom staff and the academy and the 23s and 21s is great. It's not been good. He said it on the. Oh, fair enough. If Moyes leaves, I'm wondering if Nolan will follow. Quite possibly. Nolan might fancy another crack at management. I think whoever comes in will be bringing their own staff in. So likely is he would probably go, wouldn't he? To be fair, the fans want to see better football. To a degree, I agree. And I want to see better football. I want to see better football and win. I'm not saying we can't do both, but I was reading that someone's was mentioning on one of the social media posts saying, I don't care if we finish 13th as long as I just want to see us win some games and score some goals. Well, if you're 13th, we're not going to have won as many games as you hope, firstly. And secondly, that's all right. That's all well and true. But when your mates are down the pub ribbing you because you're 13th and they're Arsenal and Spurs and they're 4th and 5th and they're going to Europe, and then things change. Hindsight and opinions change. Stability. Head coach will bring his own staff. Indeed, we're better than Everton, Forest, and they're bigger teams than us. And I think a lot more teams. I think we're better than them as well. And I think look at Brentford at the moment, very poor. And that was the model, wasn't it? And I think there's other sides that are going to be. We're in a decent position. for FFP and PSR now. In the 2 games we played against them, I can't see. I cannot see how they. I think they just. I think a lot of it after a while it becomes a bit of a like a curse, like a monkey. And that's a bit. Oh, we're not going to win these anyway. It's like when you play Man City, we go And I think it's the same thing. Moyes looks like in players bought and sold, left the squad, and not brought through one youth player. Did he not play George Earthy the weekend? He got injured. Has he not given 20 academy players their first team debuts more than any West Ham manager in Premier League history? I don't know. I agree. He's left us an aging squad, which he inherited. He's got his son. There's been players wasted. I think last year was the year before last was they were trying to do something different. It didn't work. He went back to type, and we stayed up and won a trophy. I think so. Again, I don't know about the dealings internally in terms of transfers, but don't agree with that wholeheartedly, Johnny. I'd like to see Will still at the helm. Yeah, too early for him, mate. I really do think it'd be too early. Would you say yesterday's we had the ability to play a better side of football with the players we have? Totally. Trust me, the football will not have been that great if we'd finished 13th. Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. Russ, we are a big club. When Moyes leaves next year, we'll be massive. That's overly. Come on, Russ, 20 players. How many Premier League, not Europe? Stats, huh? Indeed, stats can pre-prove everything. They can prove and disprove everything. But what I'm saying is, it's not that you can't just make such a sweeping statement. I've said this before. I've done the analysis. I've done the stats. Where it was we did it in two game weeks. There was no more than 8 academy players across the starting lineup across all the games in the Premier League. 8. The week after, 8. Well, it might be 9. Sorry, League about 20. Bundesliga about 15. They're set up differently to us, and it's true. With so much money in the game, those players who come through those kids have to be so much better than if I can go to Lille and buy the equivalent. And that's unfortunately how it is. And it is, as I said, if you watch, and hopefully you'll do, you go and watch the kids play, the under 21s, under 18s. Technically, they're fantastic. I could list off 4 or 5 players who I think could make it, but they need that bit of need to put a bit of bulk. Lewis Orford, as I said, he's the next Michael Carrick. Technically, he is head and shoulders above Thomas Suchek. But physically, Thomas Suchek would have him for breakfast. And that's the issue. George Earth is a fantastic player. He needs to put a bit more, he needs to bulk up a little bit. He could be a really good player if he's utilised correctly. Julia Robinson, right back, just signed a new 2.5-year deal. Brilliant for right back. Fantastic. He could make it. He's got that Kyle Walker about him. So we'll see. For me, he goes out on loan next year. Freddie Potts comes back. He goes into the first team squad. Unless the head coach and Tim Stein and Noble think actually another year might help him. Because by then, Suchek will be a year older. The goalkeepers, Jacob Knightbridge. Jacob Knightbridge is a fantastic goalkeeper. He needs to go out on loan next year. We need to utilise the loan market to get these guys first team experience. So when they don't play, it's not like they're a rabbit in headlights. The academy, under 21s, under 18s, need to be playing the same formation, the same way of playing as the first team. So when a George Earthy, when a Callum Marshall does come in, they're ready to play. At the moment, we play a different formation. I don't know why, but we've always done that. We've done it for the last few years. Moyes has him or one of his representatives at every under 21 game. And I know because I sit in front of them. I see them. I see them making notes. They know about the players. And they'll use them when they want to. But at the end of the day, I'm just a fat bloke talking in front of a computer. You obviously know a lot better than me. So I'm just giving you my opinion, my learned opinion. Using Everton is a strange one, being a mess. I'm not yet established. Indeed, they're not. I'm trying to give a different opinion. We have much bigger crowds and turnover in Forest, and yeah, maybe, but they won more. Everton one more than us? I don't know. But I know what you mean. That's Everton's the way it could go. If you're not well run, you could be like an Everton. They'll get better training with men. They do, and they do train with the first team. And you see, it's like some of them just don't think they're going to get through. I don't think they're strong enough to get into the first team. I think because they're academy, we think they're that. They always have the attribute card, but sometimes looking at it, you get 3 or 4. If you get 3 or 4, you've had a really good. I mean, we've had Tony Carr on and talk about it. He goes, usually you get 1 or 2, but if you get 3 or 4, you've had a really good run. I think we've got 3 or 4. I think we've got 3 and 4. And then you go into the 18s. Ezra Mayes, brilliant. Signed for us. Bayern Munich were coming chasing on a pro deal for him. He signed for us. Great centre half. Very good. Edris Becky, 16. Bring him in. Brilliant. You got Shaw Moore, good player. You got Josh Ajala, good player, good forward player. You got Dan Rigg, really good player. Really small, needs to bulk up. Hi everyone. We saw Moyes yesterday. Enjoy. Who knows? Might go crazy. They were playing for them 20 years ago, 50, 18 years ago. The money in football has gone from there to there now. And that's the trouble. That is the trouble. Oh god, there's so many comments. Well said, as you said, as so much talented youth physically. Best example we saw much job. That's the thing. And I think that the way some kids are, they have an elevated position of themselves. So look at Sonny Perkins. Look at Harrison Ashby. Look at these players who thought they were the next thing, and it hasn't worked. I did a show the other day, and I'll dig it up and I'll bring it back one day. I went through all the players that have been through and we've released in the last whatever it was. I think only 2 have played in the Premier League, or 3 now with Josh. So when we let players go, people go, "Oh, not more the youth." If they're not good enough, I'd rather them go to another club, rather than go to they play league football. We've had people on. Izzy Ickuped, he was a captain of the FA Cup youth final, cup winners with Joe Cole and that lot. He it didn't work out for him, so he dropped down divisions. Played for Swansea. Lee Hodges went to dropped down to play to Scunthorpe. Adam Newton went to Peterborough, Portsmouth as well. I think played lots of games for them. It should be like when a player gets like released. Oh, boys didn't refuse to play him. It's not. It's because maybe they might not be good enough. Will Moyes earn his wage next week? Who knows? Next season? Who knows? Great seeing you last night. When did they remove the academy from the pitch? They have to do that for the. They remove it all for the thing for the UEFA. The bear, not the fat. Oh, how rude. Bring back the combat. I totally agree. And that's not a detriment just to West Ham, but for everyone. For England, I totally agree. Loan market is not as useful as it used to be. Some of the clubs take. You're right, and they do what we do, and they fill their bench up. That's why it has to be the right. And we did a whole thing, went through all the players that have been, we've been linked to it, been out on loan, rated them. For every Freddie Potts loan deal, there's a Callum Marshall one. So it's really important. It's not a given. Right, I'm gonna have to go in a minute. I realise I wasn't. Remember, I was upset. Yeah, and we got £19 million for him. Was one that's supposed to be. Yeah, again, Reece Oxford. And as I said, I literally think it might be a couple more now because of Luton. So Reece Burke and Danny. I don't know if Danny Potts has made a Premier League appearance this year for them yet, but yeah, there's not many. Pelly, I suppose Pelly Ruddock as well, thinking about for Luton. But anyway, we'll put a Dave Moyes press conference up in a bit. That's already happened, so I've already recorded that, so I'm going to whack that up any second now. And we might see Irish Tommy tonight, maybe not. I don't know. He might be going to Tipperary or working, but keep it on the channel, and we'll try and get as much content to you as possible, you lucky bastards. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, and don't forget, if you want one of these lovely, look at these metal. This is our new partnership. You see Alloy Collectors up there. This is made of stainless steel, recyclable stainless steel. And there's stickers. You can put like the shirt name on the back of your favourite player. You can put them on the top there, like they do. And they'll be doing loads of these soon. Different shirts, retro, or you can, if you don't want to, you can build it yourself, like in Lego. Check in the description, there'll be a link. And West Ham Network guys get 15% off. You can buy them in the club shop actually, but they're cheaper because you get a discount and you help out the channel as well. But yeah, always give them a shout out, and they're lovely, 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 lovely fellas as well. Anyway. Take care, stay safe, stay well. Hit the smash button, hit the like button, smash the like button, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Much love, my friends. Thank you for your time.